Stop scrolling and lean closer because what happened today was not just another celebrity sighting. It was a moment that felt like destiny rewriting itself in real time. Miles Wei stood beneath the bright lights of a public event, the memory of his grand proposal still fresh in the minds of fans around the world, only to watch Shen Yue step into the same room and slowly gravitate toward Dylan Wang as if drawn by something far stronger than promises or rings. What unfolded next was not loud or chaotic. It was quiet. It was heavy. It was the kind of silence that makes your chest tighten. Stay with this story until the end because every glance, every pause, every breath carried a meaning that no headline can fully capture. And when you finish reading, tell us what you truly believe happened in that room, because this may be the turning point no one saw coming. The room was glowing with soft golden lights, cameras flashing like restless stars across the ceiling. Miles Wei had arrived first, confident and composed. The proposal he made just weeks ago had been elegant and carefully planned. Flowers cascading down marble steps. A speech that trembled at the edges with sincerity. A ring that reflected not just light, but intention. Fans called it perfect. Comment sections were filled with congratulations and heart emojis. It seemed sealed. It seemed certain. But certainty has a fragile heartbeat. When Shen Yue entered the venue that evening, conversation softened in waves. She was poised, wearing a silver gown that shimmered like liquid moonlight. Her expression was calm, almost unreadable, yet her eyes carried a depth that only those who have loved deeply can recognize. She greeted colleagues politely, her smile measured and graceful. Then Dylan Wang walked in. The temperature shifted. There was nothing dramatic at first. No running toward each other.
No dramatic declarations. Just a pause.
A fraction of a second where Shen Yue's gaze met Dylan's across the crowded room. It was brief, but electric. The kind of glance that says we have shared storms no one else knows about. The kind that lingers even after you look away. Miles noticed. He had been mid-conversation, nodding along as someone praised his recent work, but his attention drifted. His eyes followed the invisible thread connecting the two people standing several steps apart. He watched as Dylan offered a small, respectful nod. Shen Yue returned it, her lips parting slightly before forming a soft smile that did not belong to the cameras. It belonged to memory. Miles felt something tighten inside him. Not anger. Not jealousy in the dramatic sense. It was something quieter. A question forming without permission. Did I misunderstand her heart? The event continued. Speeches were delivered. Applause rose and fell like gentle waves. Yet beneath the polished surface of the evening, something else was unfolding. Shen Yue found herself drifting closer to the side of the room where Dylan stood speaking with producers. It was not obvious. It was gradual. One step after another as if pulled by gravity rather than choice. When they finally spoke, it was almost too subtle for anyone else to notice. Dylan leaned slightly forward. Shen Yue tilted her head just enough to hear him over the music. Their conversation lasted less than a minute, yet their expressions shifted through a spectrum of emotion that would take others years to experience.
Surprise.
Nostalgia. A quiet ache. A shared understanding that words could not fully explain. Miles saw the way her posture softened. He saw the way Dylan's usually confident demeanor grew gentler in her presence. He remembered the night he proposed, how Shen Yue's eyes shone with appreciation and gratitude. But gratitude is not always the same as longing. He excused himself from his circle and walked toward the balcony, needing air that did not carry the weight of unspoken history. The city lights stretched endlessly beyond the glass, glowing like distant possibilities. His reflection stared back at him, strong yet suddenly uncertain. He had offered stability. He had offered commitment. He had offered a future carefully outlined and secure. But could stability compete with a bond forged in shared beginnings and unspoken chapters? Inside, Shen Yue and Dylan parted ways with polite smiles. There was no dramatic touch, no lingering hand, yet the space between them felt alive, like a conversation that refused to end. Later that evening, reporters gathered outside the venue, microphones ready. The question came sooner than expected. Miles Wei, how do you feel seeing Shen Yue and Dylan Wang together tonight? The crowd held its breath. He could have laughed it off. He could have dismissed it. Instead, he paused. And in that pause was everything. He spoke carefully, his voice steady but carrying an undercurrent of vulnerability. He said that proposals are promises made with hope, not ownership. He said that love is not about competition but clarity. He admitted that seeing certain moments tonight made him reflect deeply. Not about regret in the dramatic sense, but about timing and whether hearts move at the same pace. His words spread instantly across social platforms. Clips replayed. Fans dissected every syllable. Some praised his maturity. Others speculated about hidden disappointment. Meanwhile, Shen Yue returned home in silence. The night replayed in her thoughts like a film scene she could not pause. The way Dylan's eyes held questions he never asked. The way Miles' expression flickered for just a second before he looked away. She felt torn between gratitude for what was offered and the undeniable pull of something unfinished. Dylan, too, retreated into reflection. He had not planned to disrupt anything. He had not intended to awaken memories carefully sealed away. Yet seeing Shen Yue again, radiant and close enough to touch, reminded him that some connections are not erased by distance or new beginnings. The next morning headlines exploded with speculation. Did Miles regret proposing? Was Shen Yue reconsidering? Was Dylan stepping back into a story he once walked away from? But the truth lay not in gossip but in emotion. Miles did not regret loving her. What unsettled him was the realization that love must be chosen freely every single day. And choice cannot be forced by a ring or a perfect speech. In a private moment shared with close friends, Miles confessed that he would rather step back than hold someone whose heart hesitates. His strength was not in possession but in dignity. Days passed, yet the image of that quiet exchange lingered in the minds of fans. It was not scandal that captivated them. It was the authenticity of it. The reminder that even public figures wrestle with private doubts. That even grand gestures can tremble under the weight of unresolved history. And so the question remains. Did he regret proposing? Or did he simply recognize that love is not about winning but about alignment? What happened in that room was not loud enough to shatter glass, yet it was powerful enough to shake certainty. A glance across a crowded hall. A softened smile. A man standing on a balcony questioning whether promises can compete with destiny. This is not just a story of three names. It is a story about timing. About whether hearts ever truly close old chapters. About whether courage means holding on or letting go. If you felt the tension in that room, if you sense the gravity of that silence, then you already understand why this moment will not fade quickly. Tell us what you believe. Was Miles confronting a quiet regret? Was Shen Yue rediscovering something she never fully lost? Or was it simply two pasts colliding under bright lights? Share your thoughts and join the conversation because this story is still unfolding and the next chapter may redefine everything we thought we knew.